camera's gonna work.
We tested it, so it's fine.
Okay.
Gotta, keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
It'll be all right.
It'll be better than we have right now.
I got the results. So I went on a Tuesday. Yep. I got the results. Thursday, PCR. My mom, my and this is what I got from you never hold it.
No, not that. We got rid of
Oh, yeah, so people.
Yeah.
And they got a cough.
Yep.
But,
They're fine.
yeah, they're probably better. Same with me, we went back to work first day.
Okay.
And if I answer to his, cold thing, I'm going to test him out.
Just fine.
Because all I do is, what I say,
Rapid, same piece of and so, that's what counties are, counties are doing rapid testing.
So Sarah, you're broadcasting on YouTube Live? Okay, good.
he says, you want to work with me? He says, well, hopefully done, but since it's the first year.
Yeah.
He says, I said, well, you want to do our reports? He says, yeah. This is a December report. You don't have to pay the whole year.
Let it go.
6 o'clock.
Okay, let's begin. I'm Tim Colby, Mayor of the Village of Millbrook, and this is the January 12th, 2022 meeting of the Village of Millbrook Board of Trustees. Please stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you for this evening. Sir, can you roll call trustees?
Mayor Falvey,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Contino,
Here.
Trustee Herzog,
Here.
Trustee Arbogast, absent, Trustee Doro.
Here. Okay, thank you. So as far as procedures, I'd like to ask everyone to stay masked unless they're speaking. I need you to unmask while you're speaking, preferably at the podium for the trustees, for the sake of being able to hear on TV. Is everybody okay with that? I'm good. Okay. Next administrative business is I'm going to talk about whether we should be going remote starting next month. So there are numerous municipalities in the county that are going remote. According to Ian, it is our purview whether we want to stay in person, go remote, or even do a hybrid thing. I do want to say that I think we are uniquely situated versus a lot of the other municipalities. I watched some of the videotaping they do of their meetings. We are unique in that we were able to spread out so well because of the firehouse making the room available to us. So I guess I want to ask the trustees, does anyone have an opinion, a preference, whatever, regarding next month's meeting? Whether it should be remote or we can stay in person? Vicki?
Well,
Could you take your mask off here?
sure. I think that in the circumstances, it's not a bad idea to go remote and, you know, looking around, we don't get that many members of the public in the middle of winter anyway, and they might be more likely to participate in meetings if they can be remote, as well as us being safer, so that's my opinion.
Okay. Mike?
I think considering some of the problems we've had and people who have been complaining for a long time having to deal with Zoom meetings and all of the things that go with it, that it would be, considering the space we have and considering how much room we have between one another and mass, that we could probably stay in person and be able to be a little more effective in getting communication out. Because I know a lot of people who complain about when they try to go on YouTube Live or that type of thing. They have a hard time hearing us as it is. So I think.
Yeah, most of those people are complaining about your reception is very poor from their house, so.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
But I prefer to stay in person.
Okay, Peter, your thoughts?
I don't think we should be going back virtually either. I think there's enough space here to remain in person, and I think we should be moving forward in this pandemic, not backwards. So that's what I say.
Okay, one other thing, I guess I have to say that I am preferential towards staying in person. And my hope is that in the next 30 days, we're going to see a turnaround in the fall we've seen. Now, Buffy's not here. She's already expressed concern to me about whether we should be more remote. We can't hear her opinion tonight, but she might be tending towards more what you're saying. Can I ask that we plan to stay in person next month, and then if things change dramatically, we will have some emergency review and discussion again? You okay with that? Okay, anyone in the audience have a comment or concern with it? Yes, Matt.
Going to Vicky's comment about people not coming down for the meetings, and you get more people to do it remotely. You've been having the meetings here since the middle of the summertime, and the only person out of the public that's been coming is Kevin. Everybody else can come. So, you know, I think you should keep it here.
Okay.
You are spread out.
Yep.
Like
Well, thank
you're
you
saying.
for making the place available to us. Anyone
Why-
else have a comment? Okay, good. So we'll proceed as follows. Plan on meeting in person next month. And if there's a drastic change, we'll figure out what we're going to do as far as that, okay? All right, thanks for your input. Next, I'd like to talk about minutes approval. Do we have minutes to approve? Sarah?
You have 2 sets.
2 sets, okay. From the meeting last week,
Yep.
as well as the meeting back in December?
Yep.
Okay, so have the trustees had a chance to review the minutes from the December board meeting? Any questions or updates that you'd like to make to those minutes? Peter, you had a chance to look at that, that predates you, but I mean, I guess it does make sense for them to vote on minutes. How about you, any changes you want to make to the December minutes? Can I get a motion to accept the minutes
I'll make that motion.
in a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, we'll approve the minutes from December. Last week, we had the annual reorg meeting. She posted the draft minutes from them, and as well as an update to the actual verbiage that we used. I assume you all received a copy of that. Any changes or updates you want to make to the minutes from last week's meeting? Can you get a motion to accept those minutes? Second?
Aye.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay. Minutes are approved. Next are the vouchers. Again, for the audience, all the charts are posted on the website under the drop-down box called Meeting Docs. You can follow on with this if you want. The voucher totals for this month: general fund $140,731. The water fund $12,866, and the sewer fund $20,591, for a total of $174,188. Now, because the deputy clerk has been out with COVID in her family, actually she just tested positive today too, by the way, so she's in quarantine. She was able to get the summaries out to us but the details are in the office, waiting to be signed by the trustees without the cover sheets, right, Sarah?
Yeah, so there's nothing to sign.
Oh, there's nothing to sign there yet, okay. Okay, so my question to the trustees is, are you willing to accept the vouchers as published in the summary, or do you need more time to see that? Because I want to say that I think that you can accept them as is, and if we find errors later, we'll go back and correct it. Is that acceptable as a procedure, given we got this COVID thing going on?
What would happen if we didn't, we actually waited to?
Nothing, actually, as you saw in our reorg meeting last week, we provided through a motion that that the clerk can pay the vouchers in advance. And if we find later that there's any kind of wrongdoing going on, we have the ability to institute some corrective actions to that. Right.
I have no problem with that.
So are you guys okay with that?
I have no objection.
Peter? Okay. So can I get a motion to accept the vouchers?
I'll make that
In
motion.
a second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Now, in going through the vouchers, there's a couple comments I want to make. First off, I noticed the Christmas lights bills are there. We reimbursed Kevin for the purchase of the Christmas lights. The one thing I want to ask the public is, this is a situation where we have an account at Ritter Briggs, and because we are exempt from sales tax, we could have gotten the lights without the sales tax being charged, $111, if we asked for the account to be used. So just in the future, if you could just make sure you use the village account when you're buying our lights. That makes sense, Kevin?
We tried to buy them at Ritter Briggs. Mike could not sell us lights because he was not able to get enough lights this year due to the supply, as everybody calls it, the supply chain.
Yeah.
No other choice but to go to Williams. But yeah.
Oh, you went to Williams instead. I thought they were all from, oh, okay, fine.
We have an account there
Mike was
too.
not able to.
You're going to count out Williams? Okay. So the same guideline goes along. If you're going to use, if you're going to buy things for the village, just use the village account and we don't pay sales tax. All right? It's not a big deal. It's something to know. Now, I want to make sure we are accounting for this correctly. So we had the combined trust accounts, the three, put all together. One of the three trusts was the $2,400 from one trust that was for specifically Christmas decorations. So I want to make sure that $1,600 gets decremented from the H&L account. And we have a record that keeps track of the fact that the next year we have $800 left over for Christmas lights. So can you take care of that, Sarah?
Yep.
Okay, great, thanks. And the only other thing in the vouchers I noticed that was kind of offsetting was, Matt, just for your awareness, the cancer insurance. We provide cancer insurance to those volunteer firemen and women who are certified to do internal firefighting.
That has changed.
Oh, is that right?
It now goes for exterior as well.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, then that maybe explains why the bill came in at $5,076 this
Yeah.
year. Almost
We
double
had
what
to-
we expected.
We had to update the list, but it's only for the active members who have been in the company for 5 years.
Okay. So could you send me an email just to document that, just so I can pass around to the trustees, because I was caught off guard by that. The state mandates that we pay for cancer insurance for, I think it's like 7 or 8 cancers that are shown to be increasing predominance in firefighters. We actually expanded the policy to cover all cancers for those firefighters. I think if it wasn't for a lot more money, I think it was a worthwhile program for us to do it. But I just want to make sure that for the next budget, we're going to start entering into in a couple months, we correctly accommodate for what the expected insurance costs are going to be. Okay. Any questions from the trustees about what I just said? No? Okay. All right, thanks for that. And other than that, the invoices look very consistent with the budget. So I'm very happy with the results so far. Okay, next on the docket, Deirdre, any update you want to provide from the county legislature?
Sure.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah. I assume nobody come up here.
Yes, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
So I'll give you the county update. A couple things. COVID testing. As you know, the county does the COVID testing at the old J.C. Penney at the Galleria Mall. And as of today, they announced that there was only PCR tests available there. And now, starting next week, They're also gonna do the rapid test
Okay.
at JCPenney. They're also expanding the hours. It's gonna be Tuesdays through Saturdays, 1 to 7, so you can get your rapid test there as well. And they also have, vaccine appointments available at that same location. So you can get your PCR, your rapid, or your vaccine or your booster at the old JCPenney and the Gallery Mall.
Okay.
And I believe we're still rolling out, the county's still rolling out from the state to the county as a pass-through, the self-home kits. And I don't know if you guys have an update on when you're getting the next allotment, but I know that they're forthcoming. Some are being, taken to school districts, and some are being brought forward. So
Yeah, at Marcus's meeting on Monday, he said we should expect another shipment on Monday, the holiday. And he did mention that he thinks also masks as well.
I did see the KN95.
K95, right, which we gave away all of them last time.
Yeah, that's great.
And later this meeting, we're going to talk about when, where, and how we're going to give out the next batch
Perfect.
of kits as well as masks. I'm really kind of concerned about the fact that they're coming on Monday, and I don't like sitting on them.
I know, because the goal is to get them on the community.
That's right.
I know.
But I want to make sure that people have a fair chance to get them, so.
Well, I think what you did last time was very fair, that if you got them the first time,
Yeah.
bleed out in turn, I think that's very fair.
Yeah, but we got to figure out, well, we'll talk about it later, where, when, and how. So that's not our
Got it. I also just wanted to announce a couple of good news items. Partnership for Manageable Growth, which is a county-funded grant program. It does offers conservation easements in open land and farmland protection, and they have funded 32 acres at Bennett College that will remain open space. So that's through the Partnership for Manageable Growth.
Oh, wait, tell me that again, so at Bennett College.
32 acres will remain open, it's the parkland.
That's not part of the property that the Millbrook Community Partnership is?
It is, it's through a partnership for manageable growth, so any entity, like Pond Farm got farmland protection, Primrose Hill got farmland protection, Bennett College got some open land.
So there wasn't a transfer of a deed to this organization?
Nope.
It was just a specification that is.
Right, it's through the county's Partnership for Manageable Growth
Okay, what
program.
does that mean as far as, is it a tax-based issue, or what happens?
Right, well, it certainly is a tax-based issue, but it also preserves the open land.
Okay, so it can't be developed?
Correct.
Okay.
And then yesterday, the county announced the agency for partnership grants, and the Millbrook Library was funded $200,000 to upgrade and repair their HVAC system.
Very nice.
So that was really good news for the village of Millbrook.
I got a question about that. Is that such a grant available for churches that have HVAC issues? They're nonprofits, but are they eligible for that kind of program?
I don't know, I can look into it for you.
Could you please? I got someone that actually already sent me about that.
Yeah, I'm happy to look into it. I'll look into it. I'm not sure what the criteria is for the application.
Yeah, okay.
And I look, of course, when I saw the list, I honed in right on Millbrook Library, but I'll look into what other organizations receive.
Yeah, I have quite a few that apply, and only half a dozen were accepted.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, there's always more grants than money.
Of course.
And that's really it. We have our committee meetings tomorrow night and our regular monthly meeting next week. So
I still got to go back to this 32 acres thing. So,
I can get you more. Why don't I email you more information?
please, because I'm kind of surprised at that. I
Okay.
know nothing about it.
I'll send you the resolution.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No
Thank you.
problem.
Okay, Deirdre. Any questions for Deirdre from the trustees? Anybody from the audience have a question? All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Kevin, are you here to discuss anything from the MBA that you want to be on the agenda tonight or not?
Actually, I was just coming down to thank you all again for the donation of the lights to the village. And that's what came down here. But now that you brought up about the sales tax,
Did you know here? You want to go speak here?
it's just, if you'd like, I can take the receipts back, get a refund, and have them put them on your account for the tax savings. If you'd like me to do that, I'll do it.
I'd rather not get into it now. Let's go forward. Okay.
But I was coming down here because.
I'm sorry?
I was coming down here to thank you all again.
Well, okay, I appreciate you
for
doing
the
that.
donation.
And thanks for all you did to organize and manage the process with all
And I
that.
have to say, we've had nothing but wonderful comments.
Yes, I agree. It was a nice job.
Yes.
Very well done.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kevin. Okay, next on the agenda is the year-to-date financial report. Sarah and our senior account clerk, Karen McLaughlin, did a lot of work to put together this report. It's actually on the website. And Karen called me today and said that Ken tested positive. She's not boosted, so she needs to quarantine, so she can't make it tonight. So I said we would hold off the presentation of the 6-month report until next month when she's here to do it in person. But just some talking points, just if you get a chance to take a look at it. I think we're in relatively good shape. I do just want to make sure we focus on overtime control between now and year end. Although manage it appropriately. So for example, Bob will never say that you cut back overtime, and that's why you didn't follow the roads, right? We already had a discussion. And same thing with you, Jared. I mean, there he is, right? Overtime is important to control, but if you need a second officer to do an arrest, you get a second officer to do an arrest, all right?
Yes, sir.
No excuses about that kind of stuff. But where you can manage it, just be conscientious and do what you can. The other thing I want to make sure is that we do apply for our full CHIPS reimbursement before the budget ends. So I think there's a couple cycles that we have to do. Let's just make sure we get all our ducks lined up. May have to drag an invoice out of Millbrook for that tractor, which hasn't shown up yet. Just to make sure we get all our money reimbursed in this fiscal year through the CHIPS program. And also make sure that we are spending the items that are budgeted this year. So that's particularly for the firehouse. You guys do a lot of back-end loading of your spending, which is, by the way, in some certain aspects good for us because we don't receive the Townsend check until March. All right. So I appreciate that. It kind of tightens the window you have to do your thing. I just want to make sure that you do your thing, buy the things you budgeted for, have invoices that are submitted so we can close the books in a timely manner soon after the close of the year, May 31st. All right. If you see any problems coming forward as you forecast, let us know early. As far as water and sewer, I think that's in pretty good shape. Pretty good management by VRI as usual. I did talk to Karen about some issue with cash flow that we had this year. Basically, that we were receiving paying expenses faster than money was coming in. All right. Now this year we had the luxury of having excess money accrued in the bedrock well account. We moved over all but about $10,000 and we took care of that cash flow issue. But I want to forecast. We'll do this as part of the budget process. I want to forecast what that cash flow is going to look like next year, and if necessary, we may be talking about another increase in the water rates. So last year we increased the sewer rate, not the water. I think it was 2 years ago. We did the sewer maybe 3 years ago. Did the water about 2 or 3 years ago. And just want you to give a heads up that we may be looking at a water rate increase for this budget, just for the sake of making sure we get sufficient cash flow to pay our bills on time. Because next year we won't have the luxury of this bedrock well account available to us. Okay. Any questions about what I'm talking about there? All right. Questions from the audience about that, Scott? Okay. All right. And the other thing I'm going to talk about within the financial report is the fact that the budget season is coming up. Okay. And Sarah and Karen are working on the schedule. Let me just give you a highlight of what it's looking like. We're going to do the same kind of thing we did last year. Have 4 separate sections. It's going to be water and sewer first. Hope you can do that, Scott. Highway and fire, police, and then the front office general, and then a total roll of the budget. And I want to get that done by the end of March. Okay. So we're going to start possibly the end of February, Scott. Sarah's going to work on the schedule and then publish it for us. But that's roughly the time frame we're talking about. So please start thinking about that right now. I think, Sarah, you've got a template you want to use? Mm-hmm. Okay. And the goal is to have the budget presented to the public by the middle of April. And then we can take a vote then, and it has to be approved by May 1st. All right, there's a matrix of the schedule for the budgets we're going to follow for villages. Okay, it's the same schedule as last year. So that's roughly the goal I've got going on with the budget. So next month at our meeting here, Karen will come in with a presentation of the 6-month report, plus a more detailed expansion in terms of what we're looking for when. Okay. Any questions about that budget process? Peter, it'll be the first time for you. We'll walk you through it, but it was the first time for us last time too, so we're not experts in this thing. So don't hesitate to ask questions. Any questions from the department heads about that? Okay, in the general audience? Okay, thank you. Okay, let's get into the monthly reports. So Matt, you're covering for Matt and Ted. Come on. I'm a horse, definitely, of course, as the meeting goes on, so.
Hello all. I'll do the, I have the December reports and the annual report.
Oh, okay.
I'll do the December report first. We had 15 automatic fire alarms, 3 motor vehicle accidents, 1 structure fire, 57 EMS calls, a chimney fire, furnace malfunction, 2 carbon monoxide alarms for a total incidence of 80. EMS responses, Northern Dutchess paramedics are 4979, responded to 56 calls. The Millbrook Fire Department ambulance, 13 calls, and the fire department members assisted at 29 of those calls. Mutual aid was given for fire once at 11 EMS calls. Mutual aid received 0 times for fire and 1 for EMS.
So what you see is a continuing trend of how we provide extraordinarily excessive amount of mutual aid to other areas that receive minimal back. I mean, receiving minimal back is not a problem. It's just the fact that I'm really concerned about the number of times our EMS is outside of the town of Washington servicing other municipalities and basically leaving us exposed. And that's what I'm picking up, with specifically Betsy Ross, the supervisor of Unionville. That seems to be the main source of our concern. Okay. So I got that one. Thanks, Matt. Go ahead.
For the total calls for 2021, there was, which is actually up excessively
Yeah, over 1,000.
from last year, 1,005 calls, 195 automatic fire alarms, 39 motor vehicle accidents, 681 EMS calls, 2 vehicle fires, 3 brush and grass fires, 16 wires down calls, 3 hazardous material calls, 4 service calls, 13 structure fires, 2 chimney fires, 4 furnace malfunctions, 10 flooding conditions, 2 standbys, 9 good intent calls, 2 appliance fire calls, 1 technical rescue, 19 carbon monoxide calls.
Do you happen to know what's driving the increase?
That's more people coming up from the city because of COVID.
Some of these categories, nothing stands out as particularly
No.
higher.
Yeah, we could look at last year's report just to compare, because he did the same thing last year, but,
Last year, I believe it was
yeah, it's the same,
861
yeah,
for the year.
that's a significant increase.
I don't believe there was many flooding conditions last year. We had a lot of rain this year.
Okay. All right, and did you have the ability to sort out the annual report, the mutual aid given versus mutual aid received?
Yes.
Can you give me those 2 numbers? I'd appreciate that.
Yep.
This is the reason I mentioned before. Any question about Matt's report?
Now, do you want that just for EMS?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That's a specific issue we got. All right.
Yep.
All right. Any questions for Matt about the reports? Peter?
No.
Vicky? 2 things on my mind, Matt. One of them is the EMS had asked for us to see if we could find test kits, right? So we ordered and received 100 test kits, right? I want those dedicated for front-facing volunteers, especially dealing with our most, sick residents. And so what I asked Ted was, I think I copied on the email, I wanted to know specifically how you're going to manage those, who's going to control them, has to be in a temperature-controlled environment, and then how you're going to hand them out, how you're going to decide who gets them and who doesn't. So when can I get that from you?
Check with Ted.
Okay, all right, fine.
That's a Ted.
I think she said he was going to talk to Lori. So I'll check with Ted tomorrow, but I want to make sure I get that in hand first. I just don't want to give them out and then find out if they're in the streets or something.
Nope.
These are specifically purchased for the sake of the EMS personnel to use. Because again, they are front-facing, so they're in contact. Even some of the volunteer firemen who go out to help are, face-to-face contact with people. And I know you're trying to use PPE, but in this day and age, it's important for you to know for the sake of yourself, your family, as well as the people you're helping, just where you're at.
Great.
All right, so we have the kits, I'm gonna give them out to you, I wanna know first how you're gonna manage.
I'll send a text to Ted.
Okay,
He's sleeping now because he had to work a double last night
Oh, okay, fine,
and into this morning.
all right.
So I'll send him a text to tell him that.
All right, good.
Inquire.
And the second thing on mine is, somebody said to me these parking lot lights out here, are these supposed to work? So what's the deal with hitting those things?
I have actually been in contact with Central Hudson.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully they'll be. Now, are you sure that they're Central Hudson's lights? Because they don't have Central Hudson. What?
That's what I was told.
Well, start there and see what they say.
Because they don't have anything on the poles that say that they're Central Hudson's.
Okay,
They were the same lights that we used to have in the village,
oh, okay.
that we took them over when we put those new style lights on, but I don't think we ever did anything with those three.
There's 4 out there.
4.
Oh, there's 4, okay, fine. I'd like to get those lights working again, just for the sake of safety.
No, I've been in contact with my brother.
Very good. Oh, okay.
So,
All right, great. Anything else, Ted? I mean, Matt?
okay, George. I'm going to be in contact with Sarah in regards to myself and Ed Lodi in regards to meeting with Sarah about getting the bid out for
For the roof, okay, very good.
I was out of commission for a week. I also was positive as well.
Oh, okay.
So I wasn't able to do a lot of the stuff that I wanted to do.
That's fine.
At home.
No, take your time. Recover, that's the most important thing. And thanks for the capital asset input from the fire department. That completes the records reading, right?
Yes.
So that's all in place. Thank you for that.
Sorry for the delay.
Any other questions or comments for, not Ted, Matt? Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, Officer Witt.
Good evening.
Good evening.
In front of you have the monthly report for December of 2021. Mayor and I have spoken, my year-end report will be presented in the February meeting
Yeah, no
for
problem.
2021. Total incidents for December of 21 were 77, which is a little low for us lately, but maybe everybody's on their best behavior for Santa. Traffic-wise, four traffic tickets, 6 parking tickets, 2 property damage auto accidents, 1 hit and run auto accident, 2 road hazards, 1 traffic detail, and 2 vehicle traffic points. That traffic detail was assisting with the, there was a visual for the young girl that was killed out
Oh, yeah,
on
right.
Route 82 in the auto accident. So I'd also like to thank Brian Hicks for helping us with that. I believe the state police also showed up, but Sergeant Paluzzi and Brian Hicks did most of that traffic.
Okay, nice. Yeah, that was at the band shell. We got pre-approval from the community partnership to use that facility. So thank them too for that.
Absolutely. We assisted state police twice, the Dutchess County Sheriff's Office once, fire department 3 times, EMS 17 times. Did 3 court details at the town of Washington and assisted the Central School District once. Only had 1 larceny reported in the month of December. For public service, 1 suspicious activity, 1 mental health call, 7 burglar alarms, 1 FOIL request, 2 animal complaints, and 3 lawsuits. Community policing, we assisted with the Parade of Lights, which was an uneventful event.
That's kind of.
Which is the best kind, yeah. 3 property checks, 10 school checks, and 6 additional foot patrols in the month of December. And that's it for us for December.
Okay. Any questions for Officer Witt?
I have nothing.
Guys? No? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Highway Super.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Okay. The monthly report in front of our Church Street lot, cleared catch basins, scraped all the village curbs for leaves, filled the dog stations, took the tennis nets down and locked the courts for the season, repaired the downspout and added a flex hose for drainage at Village Hall. Heat tape was installed on the Village Hall roof to prevent ice damming, and that's why we put that repair of the leader going down in that flex hose.
Yeah, specifically was over the emergency exit, which was a problem
Oh,
for last
yeah.
year. So hopefully you alleviated that.
Should, yes.
Yeah, good.
Trim back bushes for the sidewalk tractor, repaired drainage on Valley Farm Road, installed the door sweep on the Village Hall front door. We began picking up Christmas trees, well, we're actually finished now,
All right.
to be recycled at 3 Mile River in Dover. Did several repairs on sanders and plows. We had 6 snow and/or ice incidents. We began taking down the Christmas decorations. A little side note on that, you'll see the poles that were holding the Christmas trees still in place, and that's where they will remain until the ground thaws. Can't roll them out. Again, we began taking the Christmas decorations down. I think the only thing left would be the manger, and that will come down tomorrow.
Oh, good.
The new sidewalk tractor has been delivered and put into use. Matt, who mans that tractor, is very happy with it, as you had said. It's much nicer, much more comfortable, and much more powerful.
Is it wider?
No,
It's not.
no, thank goodness.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, it looks like.
No, the plow and the snow blower are the same.
Yeah, and we just put on
It
the,
just looks wider. So.
we just put on the calcium chloride on the back end.
And the calcium chloride dispenser, the old one has been put on due to the fact that a new one can't be delivered until the spring, which doesn't do us any good. It's like everything else, they're having trouble getting different things in. It took us almost 4 months to get the tractor.
Right.
We removed the large village Christmas tree from the avenue today, and we just need to get in touch with Willie Murphy. I see the lights on the other big tree are still on. So,
We take those down every year, Kevin?
No, Willie always takes a little bit longer to take them down, which nobody complains.
Yeah, okay.
but that's it.
They'll come down in probably 2 weeks.
Do you have to take them down? It's not asking.
Willie Murphy takes them down.
He does, okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Nice
good.
shells.
And people, everybody's got to be real aware of the ice this year. I mean, we went out just about every morning to redo spots and different things like that. We saw a lot of people out and about, and we were sliding around.
Yeah, the big problem is the refreezing, right? I mean, the snow melts, it goes across the
the other
sidewalk.
night, I mean, it was freezing rain.
You know, okay, yeah, right.
And people are out driving around like it's nothing. So hopefully everybody takes a little bit of caution from that.
Well, I did notice that you were throwing salt on the sidewalk when it was right next to the street, right? You do that.
Yeah, we were able to get some salt up on those.
Yeah.
And a lot of people cooperated and did their own sidewalks, which.
Yeah, we did have a problem with that snow and ice we had last weekend because the new tractor came in, the old tractor was traded in. We didn't have the salt attachment hooked up, so we kind of let the snow last weekend. But you went out with some buckets, I saw in a couple places.
Yeah, we tried to do little spots, and I think it was okay. Most people either did their area or it drained enough to where it didn't freeze. I don't think we had any mishaps from it.
Okay.
But you still have to be aware, and even if, Matt goes through, it could refreeze again, so I asked the business people to, just keep an eye on it. If they need to go out and put some salt down.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a note in my newsletter this month about even us homeowners.
Homeowners too, yeah.
Should just keep an eye on it, so if it does refreeze, he throws something out there, salt or rock.
Because he can't be out
Sand.
every minute.
Right.
You know, what he melts could refreeze.
Right. Especially when it's that cold, yeah.
You know, so it helps.
Any questions on what we're doing about what we're doing there? You're a business owner.
No, I know Kevin came around and gave us the salting news, and I think everyone, I mean, I walk to work every day, and
Yeah.
read some spots are treacherous,
Yeah.
but I'd say for the most part, Franklin Avenue looks pretty
Yeah,
good.
it wasn't as bad.
Like I went through on Monday, and I think I called you about that one spot over there by the Fox and the Hare. It was like it was a dip or something, it was more.
Yeah.
Because you went out and got that.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
But certainly the C spots, yeah. Whatever you do to take care of it, we appreciate it.
But yeah, if, you know, public can help a little bit,
Yeah.
that works too.
Okay.
And if people aren't aware of it, the salt and the calcium does not work real well below 20 degrees.
20?
Yeah, it won't work as well as in 25, 30 degrees.
What
It'll
is that?
work, but not that well. When it gets down into, you know, under 10 below, or 10 degrees, it's not as effective. So you still have to use a lot of caution.
Jeez.
Four-wheel
What's
drive.
going to disconcert you here?
Four-wheel drive does not work on that.
Right. Yeah, all four wheels are on ice.
Yeah.
Four-wheel drive is
Well, a
my,
lot of people, you know.
my daughter found out the hard way to use it.
That's it.
Any questions for Bob?
No.
Any questions from the audience? Bob? Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, Scott.
Okay. Start with the water.
Yeah.
For December, we produced 5,145,730 gallons. Average daily flow was 166,000 gallons. Performed all maintenance and sampling, and we have read all the water meters, and I believe the bills have been sent out.
Yep, I just got mine today.
So. That's it for the water.
Let's look at this four-year water trend. Look at this.
Yeah.
So the third page has got a four-year water trend.
Some of that, the discrepancies and some of that were, when we put the new system on last January, the new meter that we have is considerably more accurate than the old one.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I believe the flows, the average daily flow is out by about almost 50,000 gallons a day.
Really? All right.
You can see
Yeah.
the jump there. That's just,
I was thinking that over time you've been working on patching leaks too. I mean,
well, that too, yeah.
yeah, that shows. You worked for like 30,000 a day back in 2018.
Yeah, 18 and 19, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but if memory serves me right, we had a lot more leaks
Yeah.
in the last 2 years. Yeah.
All right, good. Any questions about the water report? No? Anybody in the audience questions? Okay, sewer.
All right. Sewer plant, the total effluent flow is 4,049,670 gallons. Average daily flow is 130,600 gallons at 2.5 inches of precipitation. Performed all maintenance and sampling. Royal has hauled the sludge dumpster, and we submitted the INI report to the DEC prior to the January 1st deadline,
Nice.
and they have received it. They gave us notification that it's been received.
Okay.
You should be getting a hard copy. Honestly, I'm looking at my mailbox today when I stopped in, but.
From them?
Yeah, well, from Delaware.
Oh,
He
Delaware.
always sent us a hard copy.
Okay.
He always sends out the digital copy first, so he makes sure we get it there before January 1st.
Who's he?
Dan works, Dan Bagnani.
Oh, okay.
Works with Delaware.
For Delaware.
He and I work together.
All right, good. Any, we're gonna talk about the generator?
Yeah, so, we had, I believe it was November, we had the generator service as part of our contract with Kinsley. They came back, having some repairs that need to be done. one of them being a switch on it that's, it's not necessarily faulty, but it gives us alarms every weekend, exercise. You know, we're able to reset it and it all works fine. They also need to replace some hoses and add some new coolant and stuff. The cost for those repairs is $2,857, which will need to get done. The generator is, I don't know, I couldn't even tell you what year it is, but I would only guess it's close to 30 years old.
30?
Yeah, I've been here 21, and was here prior to me. So, I reached out to Delaware, and I included Tim, and I think Mike on the email about the generator. My hope was we were going to get that grant to do the engineering study so we can look into getting a new one then, but I think we need to pursue something, a grant or something to get one for there, as well as the Bennett pump station, which I'm working on as well.
Yeah, okay, so by the way,
That one doesn't have a generator.
I'm sorry?
That pump station does not have a generator.
Does not have a generator? Oh.
I've never had one.
By the way, we didn't get the grant.
Yeah, that I know.
You know that.
Yeah.
Just for the board, we requested a grant from the state to fund partially the cost of doing the engineering work to determine what services we need to improve the sewer plant. This was our second attempt. And as a result of that, I asked for a sit-down meeting with them to have them take us through just what was the problem with our submission, to determine whether we should continue to go a third time for a submission or figure out a way to do it without getting a grant. That's an option we got on the table. So that's work is still in process. 30-year-old generator, how long do these things last?
Well, again, it's running, but I was, and it's even, it's in the quote or not, but we were told that, maybe in an email that I received, if the switch replacement doesn't, correct the issue, that they could do a whole new control board, but I haven't done that, so it'd be more than $3,000.
Yeah, okay, sure.
Which, my point, when I sent the email was, okay, well, we can, it's like a property, you can keep spending $3,000 to $10,000 a year to fix it, or you can look to get a new one.
Right. Which a new one, is it, in what range is the cost of a new one?
Well, what was it, the one that we put at the water plant?
I thought it was somewhere around 30 to 40 in that range.
With install, I think it was like 50.
Say again, sir?
I think with install, it was like about 50.
Is that, we got
Did
a
you say
grant for
50?
that, right?
Yeah, with install,
50?
yeah.
So you're probably gonna look in that range, because that one's a 150 kilowatt generator. The one that the sewer plant is 80, but again, if you're doing upgrades in the future, even if it's, 10 years from now, you're gonna wanna make sure you have enough capacity.
Yeah, okay.
Which is why I wanted Delaware involved, because they can, hopefully, figure out, that's how they did that one.
All right, so you and Dora are working on concurrent, what do you think is the best path forward?
Yeah.
My gut reaction is you can get a lot of $3,000 repairs for $50,000, but I'll wait and see what the experts say.
Until it fails.
Huh?
Until
it fails, right, yeah.
If
Okay.
you have to have an emergency, it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, okay.
I'm just speculating, but.
Yeah, okay, fine. Let's wait and see what you guys come up with, and we'll have a discussion later.
Just as part of that, so you're aware, we went through a period of time at the water treatment plant where we had a similar problem, and we ended up going out and renting one. And
Oh, I remember that, that's right.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but it had to be close to $1,500 a month or something like that.
I believe it was 12, right around that, yeah.
Yeah, so.
We had it for over a year.
Yeah, so the point being, we put almost $12,000, $13,000 into a rental as opposed to most of that. So we could explore some possibilities of maybe looking at grants for next year.
Right.
Either through the county or, the county.
Well, this year, right? We're talking this year, right?
Yeah, no, but if you put an application in now, you may get it approved in the spring, and by the time you actually purchase it, you're looking at almost a year before
Okay.
it's online, so,
Yeah, we're talking about a generator the size of the sound of the water plant?
I mean,
Okay.
If they put that there for what we've got, and
Yeah.
the sewer plant's a heck of a lot more, it's probably gonna be at least that. I know that one.
Is that right? Wow.
Well, I know that one there is oversized because they did it before the upgrade. They planned for any.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Because at the time, they were still looking at whether we're gonna drill wells, or we're gonna do this or that, the other thing. So they had planned for what the most electric that it could be used. But they
Yeah,
planned
last
for-
time when we played the generators, we got a grant from, shared services grant from the county for $200,000, and part of the cost of the generator came out of that.
Oh, really?
Grant.
Okay.
So, Sarah's probably accurate about saying $50,000 when all was said and done, but that was part of how we paid for that.
Right.
I could look into through the county what's available for.
Yeah, I think
this year
it's
coming up.
something we need to.
Yeah, could you, that'd be a good idea, Mike. Okay.
No promises.
Yeah. And as for the one at Bennett, I'm working on.
So right now, the situation is it's working, but there's a constant alarm situation at the reset? Is it-
Yeah, and then they're gonna try to replace the on-off switch.
Okay.
The other things are just typical maintenance.
Okay, fine.
But yeah, so if they don't, they gotta replace the control board, I guess, and it's gonna be a lot, because I know we went home through the same issue with the water plant, it was a control board issue. That generator was older than this one, but, so, I don't wanna go down that road again. Like said, we're having to rent on everything else.
Yeah.
That's gonna be,
Okay.
I'd like to try to avoid it.
All right, is that in your capital plan, by the way, to give us? The generator?
Generator?
Yeah. If it's not, let's add it.
You know, that's a good question, I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, well, let's make sure, check.
My guess is I probably have it in there, but I don't know.
Okay, but
If not, I'll put it in there, I'll send out an update.
Okay. You said there's not a generator where?
There's not a generator at the pump station, though.
So do we need one there too?
I wanted to get one there probably for the last, probably 10 years. But we just never got around to it. Again, it's costly. In years past, when there's been issues, I had the luxury of having Tim Race available to pump it out for me at a moment's notice.
Was that right?
Yeah.
Oh.
He has since sold his truck a few years ago, and he doesn't do that anymore.
Oh.
So if need be, I had to call somebody else in, which probably cost a lot more than he would.
Yeah, sure.
So that's why I've been trying to work on that again. I approached that with Delaware as well. And I believe it's something that's going to have to be designed. That one, it's not a big devastating.
Yeah, okay, right. Let's put it on the list anyway, just so we've got it on our radar.
Yeah, that one, depending on the cost, maybe it'll fit it in, or maybe it'll cap off through the budget.
Okay.
That's what I'm kind of hopeful for.
Well, why don't you go off and size it too while you're going through this thing?
What's that?
Why don't you go off and size what it would cost to put that in,
Yeah.
just so you got that number.
Right.
As we go into the budget. Okay, any more bad news?
Well,
Oh, geez, I shouldn't have asked.
well, since you asked, it's just something that was on the asset management report, was Bennett Pump Station itself. Dick and I have actually talked about it. I've reached out to the company to get options on replacements for that pump station, because that pump station is from 1986. Excuse me. And the floor in it, which is just steel, is going, it's deteriorating. So before it goes to the point where we're in trouble, I want to try to replace that. So they've given me some options, not replacing the whole thing, so, which might be less costly. We keep the motor, we keep the pumps, we keep the controls, which is a big chunk of the cost, so. I'm waiting to hear back from them on prices, I just got back to it on Monday, so.
Okay. Well, I'd like to bring these things forward, we can say no, or we'll say, count your beads a little while longer, but I mean, at least we've got on the list, we see what we got in front of us, so we're not surprised.
Correct.
So thanks for bringing that forward.
Yep.
Okay. Anything else?
No.
Questions for Scott?
Just a comment that we got turned down two engineering grants at this point, and we already can see we've got close to $100,000 right there in costs coming up that are going to have to be part of our upgrade. And we're going to get funding for it, so whether it comes through EFC in the state, or whether it comes through federal or whatever, we've been needing to address it in the sewer for quite a while.
Let me ask you this, do we know enough stuff that we really could justify putting together a package without getting the engineering report to say, here's the list of things we need to upgrade? Do we need to do this engineering report, or is it pretty obvious to you in Delaware?
Well, I mean, I think if you're gonna get any funding or anything you do, in order to be approved by the DC's gotta be engineered.
Okay,
That's just the way-
that makes sense.
It's the way the state works, doesn't matter whether it's the health department for the water,
Okay,
or the sewer with the DEC, they're all the same.
yeah, pretty well made, okay.
I can't just say, oh yeah, this is what I need.
Yeah, right.
And so, yeah, sure, go ahead.
I understand, okay. Yeah, glad I asked.
Yeah, well,
Okay,
it'd be nice.
too easy.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing's easy.
No.
Okay, anything else, Vicki?
I don't have anything else.
Thanks, Scott. Okay, Sarah. Hello.
All right, I'm gonna read the treasurer's report, and I'm gonna read from the top four accounts, ending in December 31st. So for tax account, we had $516,001.14. General fund, $96,884.24. Water fund, $40,266.90. And sewer fund, $42,221.50. You all should have seen the operating statement. We have posted it to the website where we table the mid-year report, the full report until next month. And Karen and I will be starting budget prep. That's pretty much all I have for the treasurer.
Okay, so just to go down the categories, there's the HNL is the combined trust accounts we have, from which we're taking money to pay for the new tractor. We're paying for the Christmas lights. We're going to pay for the plow that Bob got for one of his dump trucks, trying to get it paid for, right? So we're still going to have about $20,000 left in that account once they've done all the journaling. The medical deductibles part is the HRA payment. You can see that's pretty healthy still. We're getting close to the end of the fiscal year. Hope everyone still stays healthy. Anything else in here? Oh yeah, the fire rescue repair reserve. That $35,000, that's already left. That's the thing we've been talking about, where $15,000 of that is for the EMS folks. And they've been buying equipment there. So that money's going to get reduced, probably close to $20,000. And the remaining $20,000 is going to be our down payment for the our half of the metal roof that's going to be put up for the firehouse. Okay, so that's still be general. The tennis courts, I thought we made a deposit, but it looks like the money's still here, so probably it's an invoice for the deposit for the repair of tennis courts, which is scheduled for next spring. We've raised enough money. We've signed the contract.
Yep.
And I guess they haven't asked us for a
I
down
believe
payment.
Leslie submitted everything
Oh.
too, so.
And I certainly got notes back from them saying they accepted it, right?
Yeah.
So we've seen everything with an
I
invoice.
can confirm with Nicole that.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that they're not expecting an invoice and we haven't paid it, and the next spring they will say, when you come in, I said, we haven't paid us yet, so.
Right.
Because they get so backed up so quick.
Yeah.
And Mike, there's still $7,600 in there for the tree replacement program. And we have $10,000 from the tree gardens that we have available for us for miscellaneous things. So that's good. Any questions about the financial report? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So for building department, it's actually quite busy for December.
Yeah, wow.
So we collected a total of $1,755. We had 5 building permits issued. We didn't have any sign permits. We had 1 certificate of occupancy, 1 certificate of compliance, 0 certificate of uses, and 7 municipal searches. Kay Vanderlyn, she re-upped her planning board and for another 4 years, but I've not heard about 10 house keys.
Yeah, one ZBA member's term expired, and we haven't heard yet. I talked to Andy Doro, who's going to go talk to him personally to see
Okay.
if he's willing to continue another term.
Right.
All right.
And then.
And if not, then we'll have an open spot on the ZBA, and we'll start soliciting requests for participants there.
No problem. And I haven't heard anything else from Regina on any other thing that's going on.
Okay.
So that's all I have for the.
Any questions for the building department? No? As I said, Ken is home quarantined because of, he's positive for COVID, so he's doing his work from home.
Right.
So he's available by phone, he's not in the office. Probably not even, next week in the office, so.
Right.
Okay, good. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
So the next topic on the agenda, I wanted a resolution to introduce the update to the chapter on water and sewer, the code chapter on water and sewer. Now, Ian, I had a conversation with you, I thought, earlier this morning, and you said that, what's going on? You said that basically you weren't ready. You had found some things that the numbers weren't met. I never, do you want me to go through the thing and fix it up? And I said, no, I'll just ask, Scott and Mike, and I guess it was Leslie actually was working on it. The 2 of you to do another review of it. And then you sent me an email later this afternoon that says, you've done
No, I just, what I did is, the document that was sent to me, it was actually 2 separate documents. One had Article 1 and 2, the other had Article 3. I just did that, and what I did is I combined the 2 documents that Sarah sent me.
Oh, I see, okay.
I accepted the changes so that you could see what I was working with
I see.
to put into the local.
Okay, but there's 4 articles now. Scott's, there's 4 articles.
That was my understanding that there.
All right, so just explain what you found, because I was hoping that you could take the document that we sent you and make it into a resolution. So you said you found some inconsistencies or something?
Which I started to do. We could have done that tonight, but my understanding of what the village is looking to do is you're amending chapter 180 of the village code that deals with sewers and water. That chapter currently has 3 articles.
Yes.
You're creating a new article, a separate article just for water, so that the new, as amended, chapter 180 will have 4 articles.
True.
So, as I was going through it, I looked, there was a reference to Article 3 that was a reference to the backflow.
I ended up getting to show articles.
So I did that. I just thought it's a lot easier to make the changes now than once you introduce a law.
Well, what I'll be asking is that Scott and Mike, you guys could just go one more pass through there, make sure it's all lined up and.
Yeah, I'm sure I missed something, but thankfully, that's why the more I should have on.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I just thought it makes sense to do it now.
Others better just let's wait a month for the resolution to introduce the change. Unless you guys do another one through, because there's no big rush to do it, I want to do it right. So
You want to have us meet with Ian or?
No, I'd like you guys to just meet, and once you think you've done it, then submit it to Ian. And then do this thing. Okay. I'd rather you be off the side so you have independence of.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right.
And do you have any notes or anything that you wanted to be looking at?
What I can do is I think the copy that I sent, there was a couple of comments that I had. I can do a markup and email them to you.
Okay.
Because I also had a question about penalties for non-payment. There was something there that I just wasn't sure. I wasn't sure what's intended there. It provides for, it's a 10% penalty for payments that are received after 30 days, and then it says 1.2% thereafter, something like that. And
all right, well, just send them the list of concerns you've got.
yeah.
It's important to me that you guys can communicate to Ian just what it is that you're saying
Yeah,
there.
if he sends that stuff to Mike, and Mike and I can go over it.
Yeah, okay, let's
With
do that.
Ian's comments, and then we'll get it buttoned up.
Great.
And then you can introduce it at your February meeting and adopt it March.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Ian.
Yep, that was all that
There were two things on the, oh, the other thing was the discussion about the remote meetings. That one, we already discussed that. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Anything else you want to discuss?
No, that's it.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, going through the agenda now. The old business. The next item is the update to vehicle and traffic code. Now, this is one that's on the back burner because we're focusing on water and sewer first. So any update you have, you're working with Officer Witt and Buffy.
Yeah, he,
They could take a mask off.
sure. I don't have any update. What we'll do is resume our meetings. Go back to the say.
Okay.
When she gets back.
Okay. Again, this is not a high priority because we're going to focus on water and sewer, so it takes a once on there. Okay, so no rush to do it, just do it right. Take your time. Next, Mike, you updated last meeting about 4 or 5 changes you're going to make to the shade tree policy. Want to discuss that?
Okay, what basically we were going to do is we had some feedback from the community that some individuals would like to see a tree removal and a tree planting policy as actual procedures and how that's going to be done in the future. So I introduced a sample at the December meeting. We discussed it to a certain degree. I think most of the board was mostly in favor of everything. I know that Trustee Updates was saying she'd like to see the written notification be sent through registered mail, and that's a change I said that should be made.
Now, as I recall, that was one change that was really asked for from what you presented, right?
Right.
Okay.
But the reason we're not entertaining it tonight is I think that, in all fairness, that Peter should have an opportunity to look at that.
Good.
And not to be put on the spot, to be able to review it and then put comment immediately. So we can do this in February, and at that point, Buffy, I assume, will be back, and that would be better to go through a brief discussion and then make a motion and move it at that.
Okay, good. Any questions or concerns from the trustees now? I don't appear to need to spend some time to speed, but anything we discussed last month we're talking about? Anybody in the public have a comment? Okay, again, Mike, you'd like to sure we publish it, we can post it so we can take a look at it next week, next month we can go out.
That's fine. I'll work this out and make sure it's available as a link to the public or something that people can view and make comments.
Very good, thank you. All right, next 2 items are mine. First is the retaining wall. We have this 800-foot long stretch of street between Front Street and Arts Village Road. There's a retaining wall, and it's in need of repair. And as I said last month, we've gone out to bid. We received 4 bids. They ranged in price between $140,000 and $490,000 to do the job. And the process we're going through right now is Delaware is going through sequentially, bid by bid, reviewing the bid, discussing with the contractor specifics about what they plan to do versus the specs they got. To tell you the truth, right off the bat, the low bid is not going to cut it based on feedback I got from Delaware. Okay, so it's moving on to the next bid, which is, I think, $250,000. Okay. So we'll find out which is the lowest appropriate bid to get the job done correctly, and then we're going to come back and huddle about how we get this paid for. As we said all along, we already used the full $144,000 received from the government's American Rescue Funds. That's just going to be the start, the down payment. We're going to have to fund the rest of it through a variety of different things. We have some tools available to us. We're discussing about the specifics once we know exactly what the bid's going to come in on. Any questions about the retaining wall? No? Okay. Next item I have is the Millbrook restoration. So there's a committee that's formed that looks at requests from business owners in the village who want to do upgrades to their facilities. And so Zach from Moronas brought forward a request to get a grant to assist with this plan upgrade, which is already in process. You've probably already seen it. You've gone by, back of the Diners parking lot. He's already upgrading the back building there, putting on a roof, and he's going to fix then the back entrance there. And the Millbrook Restorations Committee, of which I'm a member of, has agreed to give him a $40,000 grant towards that, which is about 1/3 of the total cost expected. And the leverage that the committee has is to make sure that the upgrade conforms to what we consider to be village representative kind of architecture. And so the payments are going to be 2 payments, Sarah. It's going to be $20,000 up front, and then $40,000, and another $20,000 once the repair is completed and the committee's reviewed it and agreed with it.
Yeah, they usually submit some sort of document for us.
Yes, Kathy Shanks will be submitting you the appropriate paperwork.
Yep.
Okay. Any questions about what we're doing there as far as Millbrook restorations and this project? No? Peter, no? Any questions from the audience? Okay. I'm on the committee just for the sake of having a representative on the Board of Trustees who is directly aware of what the board's working on, what the decision process is, and what the grant money is agreed upon. That's one of the fallouts from the audit we had from the state controller's office a few years ago. Because before it was just like a pass-through. We weren't really in the loop as far as why they spend this money, what they spend it on, and how we're making sure that there's good checks and balances and the money being used appropriately. So that's the role I'm playing. Okay. All right. Okay, no questions there. I'd like to open up the floor to public comments. Anyone from the public have something they'd like to say or a question they'd like to bring forward to the board? Okay. All right, so then let's go to trustee updates. Let's start with Deputy Mayor Cantino.
I will start with the Stanford Bridge.
Okay.
Tim and I met with, by telephone, Matt Dukovich, who's at the County Public Works Department, and he informed us that they were proposing to upgrade and repair the bridge at the edge of the village on Stanford Road. They call it County Bridge W21-21. Tim raised and we had a discussion on 2 issues that are probably most important long term to the village. One is that it's a good route across the bridge for cyclists, joggers, and walkers. So for safety reasons, we would like the bridge widened a bit so that you have room when traffic passes for those folks who use it to cross safely. There seems to be agreement that it should be incorporated in design, or at least mindful that it is used in the design. There's also a platform, as those of you who use the bridge now, it's a good viewing point for sightseers or people who want to watch the wildlife, and that too is something that Matt agreed that we mindful of as they pursue the design. I should say that this design process is first starting, and they don't anticipate any construction happening until the middle of 2024. At that point, there will have to be a diversion of traffic, probably out of Carts Village Road to 44, so that the construction can happen over 4 to 6 months. For safety reasons, there's also a discussion about guardrails. There would probably be a steel guardrail, which exists now as well. And then we have to go through our records and figure out and share with them any facilities that might be affected by the construction, including any existing drainage, the wastewater treatment plant, which is right there, and any efforts we have on the dam. That's really I have on that. The other thing that they confirmed, he confirmed for sure, is that once they do have plans settled, they'll come and address the board, and so the public can hear settle its plan. That's it.
Any questions about what this was, basically a kickoff meeting? So, public comments or questions?
What was the start date?
24.
He's thinking May, roughly May of 24.
Yeah, roughly he said planning this year, permits, approvals next year,
Right.
and an actual repair placement in 2024.
You know, and that's a loose date.
That's a good thought for you as far as paving, what we might be doing up to that bridge. Because that was one of the entrance ways you wanted to get rid of. Right? All right. And then Scott, of course, we'll keep you in the loop if there's any discussions about, because he says he's got to take off, he's got to work in the areas around the bridge just to get the bridge out and the new one in. So I don't know if it's going to have any effect on the sewer plant. We're all in the loop about what may be going on. Okay, anything else?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Mike?
Okay, just two things that, and I think we're going to be talking about this after our trustee comments. And the first thing is that on two different times, on December 23rd, and then again last weekend, I was part of the board who were giving out rapid test kits, to the citizens in Millbrook. And I know the town is doing the same thing, and so we're going to try to come up with I think a better plan than what we have currently, which is that due to the circumstances for the first two dispersals, the village hall was not available to be able to give out the kits there, but I think we probably can move forward with a plan we can come up with where we can do that. And something the town did that I want to give credit for, and I think you might be able to copy, is the fact that when the town gave out their kits, they had it done in a drive-through process where identification was shown, but people basically lined up in cars. And with more inclement weather coming up, I think that's probably a better alternative than standing on the sidewalk in cold weather as we had to do for the last two, and moving that.
All right, so Mike, I'd like to hold it off. Well, let's discuss it. Let's go through the trustee comments, and then we'll go to that as the final topic for the night.
Okay.
All right, just move on.
And the other thing that I had to bring up was the fact that we've been contacted by the DEC, and apparently we have an old dump, village dump, which is behind what was once Murphy's garage. It's a parcel that we own and was used as a dump for a number of years. And now the DEC wants to go in and just check on the condition of the parcel itself and install some equipment to see if there's been any effect of what's in the dump now compared to what they feel should or shouldn't be.
All right, now I asked Bob to be our interface with them, right? You're going to be the contact point?
Yes.
Okay, good.
So I'm going to take you over there tomorrow so we can look at the site itself,
Okay.
and I'll be better informed as to what it looks like, and then we'll have.
Don't call it an old dump, though.
Well, it's the old
It's
dump.
a nice field, grass looks nice and green.
Yeah.
Don't cause us a problem, Mike.
I did talk to Dave Greenwood, and he told me that this old green patch that we own, people actually used going back to the early 1900s, so it's been there for quite a while. I have no idea when it was closed officially, but it's been around for a long time.
Okay.
And that's all I got.
Okay, thanks. Peter, any updates you want to provide in your first meeting?
Not much to report. I just want to thank the board for the warm welcome, particularly Mayor Colby, and thank the public for entrusting me to this office. And I look forward to serving with everyone and serving the village.
Good. We look forward to you too as well. It's going to be a big addition to the board. Thanks a lot, Peter. Okay, I got a couple of things, minor things. First off, on Blackboard, we're making a migration from gov.delivery to Blackboard as far as our push notification vehicle. This was requested by VRI. It's something they use in other municipalities. I think I've probably given this question before. And the benefit is it allows them, and even the highway guys, to to give emergency notification by address throughout the village. So it's a much more user-friendly tool as far as emergency notifications. So the trick though is we have done a dump of the white pages, what's within the boundaries of the village. We've got 611 addresses were imported. What we need is for those people who want to continue to receive information like newsletters, like any kind of thing coming out of the village, push information, we need you to sign up through the website. And so far we've had 127 people signing up. I'd like to just do whatever I can to help get the wording out. I'm doing with this much newsletter that more people need to sign up through the website to get on the Blackboard account. Okay, because gov.delivery is going away later this month. All right. So therefore, I'll do what I can to publish it. We'll figure out what we can do on the website to just get more notices out there. But if you could pass the word that we need people to sign up for Blackboard as a migration from gov.delivery to continue to receive information out of the village. Now, for the emergency notification, if they're in the white pages, that's going to happen anyway.
Right.
You know, as far as emergency notification. But for any updates, meeting notices, agendas, things like that, you need to actually go through the process of signing up, just like you did for gov.delivery. Any questions about that? No? Okay. And the other thing I want you to know is that there was a complaint by some of the business owners about these buzzards that are touring around the business district. They actually sit in big old evergreen tree back of my house. Very beautiful, like just walking in and out. But evidently, they also been going into the village, landing on rooftops, and as Gary Safari said to me, there's a history of this, of damaging rooftops by pecking at the roof or whatever, I don't know. So when we put a call into Tony Bonus, he said a couple things. First off, they're protected species, of course, everything is, and they're also migratory. So he's going to check with the DEC and with IES to see if there's anything we can do to try to move them or whatever. But don't be surprised if the answer is we're stuck with it. All right? But I don't know, Dietrich, if that's a problem for you down where you are, but like up where Judy Fletcher's would raise a concern and others jumped on. They're causing problems with trees and on rooftops and stuff.
I mean, I see them on my building, and most significantly, I see them often on the funeral home, on the peak of the funeral home roof.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I don't notice them do them any damage, but that's not.
Yeah, okay. I see them in the roads going after roadkill out there, reporters for that, but I didn't know about this damage in the roof.
I think they may congregate in the village too because of the dumpsters that are constantly.
Yeah, well, that's what Judy said to me. I went and checked the dumpsters and they weren't closed, but maybe it's a habit they've got. You know.
The times I've been back there, even with you, they're often open.
Oh, they're open, that's not keeping closed, okay. So just FYI on that, we'll find out more from Tony Bonus's investigation. He's the animal control officer for the town and the village, so he's gonna get that involved. All right, the last thing I had then is this discussion about the test kits. So as Mike said, we've done a couple of distributions. Ideally, I'd like to see if we can't do the following. I'd like to be distribution outside. I'd like to be during the day so we can, you know, easily identify and keep track of these different kits. I'd like it to be at the village hall on a weekend, so that those who work during the week don't have disadvantage. Now, as we found out last time, the village hall on Saturday is really not a good place, and actually Chelsea asked that we not go there on Saturday, just because basketball is from 8 to 4, and they have hourly shifts, and she's not letting the new teams in until the old team leaves, so the kids are out mingling around with their parents, and there's cars parked all over. So my thought is, I just want to bounce off the board, could we do it on Sunday in the afternoon? And again, it would make the village hall available, because I think any of the building we pick is not going to be as readily available to people. So I guess the question over to the board, what are your thoughts about when, where, and how?
I have no problem doing it in the village hall on Sunday.
You're okay with Sundays?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Sunday afternoons?
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with village hall on Sunday either. If you wanted to keep it outside, that's why I brought up the idea of kind of potentially having a drive-through as opposed to people coming in the building or waiting in their cars or whatever to come in. I don't have any kids we're going to get on a regular basis, but we gave out 60 the last time, and people
think we could do a drive-through from the village hall along Merritt Avenue?
I was thinking if we could get permission from the school, because it's school property, if they came down behind the village hall, down with.
Oh, through the alley?
Yeah, and, you know, with the alleys, and then down the alley, back onto the Elm Drive going back in the direction. We could do a drive-through back to the village hall, and, that would, if we can get, you know, normally they block that off, but it's Sunday, so it
Yeah.
shouldn't affect anybody overall in terms of traffic.
So we would have them come and open that gate up on both ends to give us access there.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that would be my suggestion. That way, if they said people can stay in their car, they can stay warm, we can go through the ID process, and if the town said literally throw you back when they will throw you back in the car and they're off. So that's a possibility.
Okay, Peter, your thoughts?
Sunday's fine. Okay. Any drive-in option, I think that we can figure it out. That's a good idea.
Two things, since you and I were doing the checking of the people, two things on my mind is one of them, do we continue to need to check off that list, or can we just do a look and see and that way, not keep track of it? And the second question I've got is, if we do that, are we going to allow people to not go get a second kit? What do you think?
I mean, I still have my first kit that I got, but
Okay.
I think if people should be able to get another one if they need it, you know?
You know,
So, yes.
you could do it at the village garage.
You have about, we have enough problems with people saying, showing up at the village hall saying, where's the town hall? I'm just afraid of, if we say any place other than the village hall, people are gonna be like, you know, running around the village. Yeah.
We were very efficient last time.
Yeah, we were.
So 18 minutes to get out the majority of it.
That's true. We exhausted the line like in 18 minutes with the two of us doing the checking.
I think the good news was that we had 60 tests.
Yeah.
So we had enough. And maybe that people don't have to line up as early as they do. We're gonna have good supplies.
Yeah. What about giving out multiple tests? Like, you know, we already got one, but you can line another one. What do you think about that?
I don't have any problem giving out a second test. I would like to see if we can come up with some kind of a way that we can publish to say people who are homebound, who cannot physically get in the line, can get access to it. I think that's one area. I know that that's difficult because we're afraid people will take advantage of it. But I think we have to at some point address the fact that there are people who literally can't stand on the line for that period of time.
Yeah, Marcus Molinaro on Monday made a special point to say, if you can, figure out something to help accommodate those people who are homebound.
If we've had 2 distributions and published times for this, if we put it out that we're gonna have another one, and people who are homebound should contact and call the office and give us their name, then maybe we can come up with a way to be able to do that, whether it's through a relative who can bring your identification for them, or whether it's I'm not looking to start a delivery service, but somehow, some way to deal with that. That is a problem.
If you guys develop a system for homebound people getting the kit, I will volunteer and deliver the kits myself to anybody who's homebound. So you guys don't have to offer the delivery service. I will happily do it. And I think that you don't need to verify their address because we're going to be delivering it, so we're going to know that they're a village resident.
Right.
But I will happily do that. Give me the kits. I will deliver them.
Thanks.
So that's not a problem. I'll do the delivery system.
And I believe in our discussion over the internet, back and forth in email, Deputy Mayor Catino had a good idea of saying maybe we could get a list of people who are currently getting Meals on Wheels or something where you already have a list like that from a local group, and that could be part of what we could look at as a baseline for people who might legitimately need something, whether they call the office or not. We could work from that.
Okay. All right, we can try that. My wife drives Meals on Wheels, so I think she can give us that list. The list certainly it goes well beyond village and building, so we can sort that list. See how much actually in the building. Okay, I guess I'm still still kind of in favor of people staying in line as opposed to the drive-through thing. I don't know. As you said, it went pretty efficiently.
It was efficient, and there were older people there.
Yeah.
There were older people there that were accompanying even older people. So I think a lot of people got kids that year.
I'm just thinking, we were very lucky the first time, it was like 40 degrees. Last weekend, it was in the teens, but it was in the sun. I think we've been pushing our luck. Still doing it outside. I guess we should try it one more time. Now, the other thing I got a problem with is, as I said to Deirdre, these kids are probably going to come up on Monday, and people want the kits. It's not really right for us to wait until the following Sunday to give the kits out. What do you think about that? Where do we sit on them? We can't sit on them.
Well, we gave them out on Saturday, on a weekend, once already, and then.
I think last time we got them on, the first time, it was a pretty quick turnaround because we got them towards the end of the week. The second time, I think we got them like on a Wednesday, set on until Saturday. Wasn't too bad.
Yeah, but we gave them out on a Saturday, so we have tried to accommodate the world in working.
How do we get notice of them coming?
I'm sorry?
So we get notice.
No, actually, I got the phone call on Monday. Law and office wasn't sure themselves. They thought probably on Monday.
Right, but before Monday, will they call us on Friday and tell us?
No, it's not an email, probably Monday when they show up or something.
Oh, so we have no notice.
And there was even a question, could you wait until Tuesday to now let us know? Because Monday's a holiday, and the answer was no. We get the kids from making them out.
Talking about this Monday?
Yeah.
5 to 8 inches.
I'm sorry?
5 to 8 inches of snow.
Of course.
Just,
All right.
throwing it out there.
Yeah. So the point is that they, the county doesn't want to sit on the kit. They want to get them out in our hands. And once we get them, I don't know, what do you think? You think we can sit on until Sunday?
I don't see a huge risk in waiting.
Okay.
There's other options. JCPenney for testing, so
Yeah.
it's the best we can do under the circumstances.
All right, well, fine. And I'd like to just wait till Sunday. I just don't like the idea of doing it during the middle of the week because no one, people are working or doing it at night. I just don't like the idea of trying to verify these at night. So we'll wait till Sunday. We will do the village hall. Mike, I prefer to do the line, the physical line.
I was trying, they said, kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, I know what you're saying, yeah.
But whatever.
I'm just really concerned about anything other than the village hall is going to be complicated for people. Although if they see the line of truck cars, they can still know where to go.
I was gonna say, coming down Elm Drive with the back of the control isn't much of a stretch.
Yeah, okay.
But still.
All right. And as far as tracking the list, Peter, what do you think? I mean, we'll still keep track of our list? If somebody comes in for a second kid?
I'm indifferent.
You're indifferent? I guess let's do this. Let's wait and see how many kids we get. Right? If we get a whole bunch of kids, like maybe a couple, because we got 30 the first time, 60 the second time. If we get 120 the third time, maybe it's time for us to say, hey, you get another kid. The other thing to note is starting Saturday, I think some government agency is allowing, or is requiring insurances to reimburse you for, I think it's like 8 kits per person per month, something like that. So with that program coming out, maybe the demand for this is also going to sort out, I don't know, if they can get the kits.
Well, most of the kids are more available.
Yeah, they are. So, okay. All right, so that's the plan then. When I get the kids, I'll let you all know. We'll plan on that Sunday in the afternoon at the Village Hall, and we'll do the same kind of sign up as before. Any questions or problems with that process? We'll figure out the wording for those who are homebound as well.
If you figure out a system, I'm happy to deliver them.
Yeah.
And if you get the kits on Monday or Tuesday, and if you know they're homebound, I would assume we can get those kits out sooner since.
Yeah, the question I work on is how we notify people that, if you're homebound, let us know.
I know, there is that.
That's kind of like a.
But I think you're right. I know Kevin can probably identify some people because he did all those meals.
Yeah.
And then I know you said that Seal does the Meals on Wheels
She does
delivery.
Meals
So
on Wheels,
maybe
she's got access to the whole list.
maybe we can I can coordinate with those guys and help
Alright.
you guys in any way I can.
All right, let me think about it a day, and I'll
Yeah.
let you know, all right? How's
Yeah.
that?
And I think if we put it out there that if you are homebound or you have problems, that you can call the office and register that, so we know that, that there are people, instead of just pulling
Yeah.
If the population is small.
All right, good, I think we have a workable plan. Let me chew on that last piece and I'll, let you know what the proposal is there. Okay, based on that, I think we've exhausted the agenda. Anything else we need to discuss tonight? The audience okay? Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting?
I'll make it.
In a second?
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Have a good evening.